What's going on, friends? Curious how y'all's week is going. Mine was boss man giving me a text message yesterday, my Monday, at about 6:30. He knows I'm an early riser, stating my lead technician wasn't going to be in because he was with his wife at intensive care. Thankfully, because of the anonymity of this channel, I'm able to share things more personal. That's the biggest point. I don't really give a shit if you knew who I was or where I am, but I can share more by it being this way. So his wife, this was only about 3 weeks ago, has been having back pain and went in for back surgery. And following the back surgery, she had a great deal of pain to where she wasn't able to walk. They did some more testing and they had actually found that her primary problem was lung cancer that had moved into her bones. And so the last 2 weeks for them has been a rapid decline in their quality of life. I've only had him for like half days for him to go out and go with her to chemo treatment. And then yesterday it's out. Y'all knew about my other guy quitting without notice, the new guy, which left me with my C technician, who does very good work, but very limited in diagnostic ability. I mean, he's very good with nuts and bolts at this point. About 2 years of experience, and then my 2 apprentices. One is fresh out of tech school with about, I would say, an accrued 6 months of experience. And then the other one is, he's kind of my learner, and he does a couple hours with us in the morning before going off to school, which thankfully they're on their break. So I've got him full time. And then my master tech had previously 3 days off. So needless to say, the schedule isn't very compromising. What the customers need for their vehicles, I don't exactly get to pick and choose what's wrong with a person's car. But having my head swim around all those different things, especially my one guy with the personal issue. So, you got to explain to customers why their vehicles aren't getting done in a timely fashion, but also too, I respecting the privacy and the delicate nature of my people. All I could really do was yesterday start out the day with a rah-rah shish goomba meeting, explain to my extremely young crew, which I'm fortunate to have 100%, what we were going to be doing, who's going to be working on what, and try to be as organized as I could. Meanwhile, there's aspects of my job that I have to put off as I assist in the shop and keep things moving. I don't know. Seemed to me maybe the managers when I were younger were better at this, or made it look easy, or maybe I just wasn't aware of what they had going on. More the latter, I bet. There was many things I didn't realize as a technician. I still like doing this better than that, and the way that I've explained it as a mechanic, I'd kind of watch the news and suspect that the economy was doing poorly because that's what the news says so, or that's what the numbers say so. And nothing really seemed to change. Our work would just sort of drop off. the one thing that we've been able to do different as owners and managers, now that we're at that level, we never run out of the work. We're able to keep the workflow going for our guys. Like, our guys don't stand around with nothing at all to do the way that we had to stand around with nothing at all to do when we were techs. That's been the biggest difference. I would say maybe it was easier for those other managers then, because if they had a particular system and that's what the system was, and either the customers came and did it or they didn't. I can't imagine it though. I'd be crawling out of my skin if I ran out of vehicles. So I got 2 more days back. Then my one guy will be back Thursday, and that'll bring a little bit more strength. Mercy be. It was enough, made me a little bit nervous before, like Sunday. Work usually isn't on my mind, but it was last Sunday. Then last week was like, it's just a total disaster. Broke a valve off in an engine that we had to take apart. Put one tech 2 days behind while we had to pull this engine back apart to actually extract the valve and replace. We ended up putting 4 valves on that one side, because when we retested it, we had some leakage on other valves and we wanted to make sure everything went in good. That went in fine, but cost us 2 days and took up the time of my C technician, which the boss man tells me is my B technician. So the scale of abilities, you got your apprentice level, is how I see it. You got your apprentice level, and those are the guys that are learning the ropes, still learning how to take nuts and bolts off properly. You got to explain how to take things apart still. Still learning like your wiring diagrams and that sort of thing. A C technician, the way it was explained to me and the way that makes the most sense is C. You can see it, and if you can see it, then you can repair it. So you look at an engine, a car's engine or a truck's engine, and for example, it's leaking oil, and you can see, there's the C. You can see that it's leaking oil from the valve cover, and you have the skills and the ability to repair the things that you see. You can see that the brakes are worn out, so you can repair the things that you see. Now, who I call my C technician, again, he's an extremely good mechanic. The boss man likes to call a B technician. I think he just calls him that so he can feel better about it. But what I read and my understanding of training and ability, this is going to sound harsh to some of y'all, there's no actual such thing as a B technician. A B technician is merely a person transitioning from C to A, like they're upwardly mobile, and A technician would be a master technician who is essentially limitless. Give them enough time and diagnostic information, and they can figure out an issue. B could possibly be one step down from that if you were specialized in a system, like if you were very good at diagnosing like an air conditioning problem or a brake problem, like specializing through it. That may make B, could make sense. Or an A technician may be specialized, like myself, for example. As a technician, I would be good with electrical things, but you couldn't necessarily give me a transmission to rebuild or a diesel, I don't know what that has to do with the original subject, other than I don't feel like we're very good at identifying that process, and I don't feel like we train enough. when I was at the dealership, we almost had like a constant low burn of training, where we were always going back and always having courses, and I just don't have that in the aftermarket. And I think it shows in how we don't necessarily get the growth. Like over the course of 2 years of doing something, there's just doesn't seem to be growth. Of course, it isn't my call to incorporate that. I can advise my owner that we need it. But yeah, I'm just talking. Thanks for hearing me out. I'll survive. I know what I'm doing. I've done it before. My head's right, thank gosh. I can't imagine going through this like 2 years ago. My head was swimming, but then again, I sort of did, but I had a good crew around me. So, not that my crew right now isn't good. I trust them all, which is the most important thing. And the one person who I couldn't trust, obviously, quit last week, so that's good. I can do a lot with trust. Yeah. Catch y'all later.